Welcome to another episode where everyone can't hear me. And then we start out with the whole spiel, and then finally they can hear me. So this is your Clark. Here we go. So can you guys hear me now? I'm doing a test here. I want to make sure you guys can hear me. So yeah, sorry about that earlier. I had a feeling that it was going to be one of those situations where nobody could hear me. Can you guys hear me now? I'm just checking. Can you guys hear me? Anybody in the chat room want to tell me if they can hear me? I think they can. Let me just give a shout out to my co-host here, my guest co-host Carmelo. Welcome to the House of Fandom. We are super excited to have you here. What is going on? How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be on the show. To go over this great classic of a movie, The Warriors, one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
You know,
no, I'm really excited too. I didn't have a chance to give a shout out to everyone on the chat room earlier, but let me just give a shout out. Welcome to the House of Fandom. I'm your host Clark on the check-in, and I'm joined by my guest co-host, Mr. Mello, who is joining a revolving a revolving door of co-hosts who have visited the House of Fandom, because my permanent co-host, which you do know, Kyle, he has become Papa 2 again. So he is Papa 2.
Congratulations!
He is Papa to another baby girl, and we're super excited for him, and just really happy that he's doing well. But in the meantime, we get to hang out with a bunch of people and talk about fandom, talk about a bunch of cool stuff, talk movie news. And today we got a special episode, because today we get to talk to Johnny, who happened to be part of a paid extra in the cult movie that we've got showing in the slideshow, the movie The Warriors. And who could forget The Warriors? That was something else, and I'm excited about it. What about you?
Great movie. I mean, when growing up, it was one of those movies that was one of my favorites. Just the whole aspect, of course, is in the Bronx. You know, that's where I was born and raised. So, it's taking place in the Bronx. But yeah, it's a great movie. I loved it. I still watch. I just watched it maybe a week ago, so I watch it at least maybe 5 times a year.
Oh yeah, I mean that movie's a classic. It was played out. It was filmed in 1978, and it premiered in the theaters in 1979. And the theme of it is a bunch of gang members in New York City that have a summit, and all hell breaks loose. And the scene in question, actually, our guest Johnny was part of that scene and part of that filming. So it's going to be really cool to be able to talk to Johnny about it.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be really cool to hear his experience and what he had to go through to film the movie and be there, and so it'd be kind of cool to hear how it went.
Absolutely. So for those of you that don't remember this movie, we're going to do you a favor, and we're going to play the trailer to the movie before we introduce Uncle Johnny. But let's dive into movie fandom news. So let me start out by talking about the biggest movie that everyone keeps talking about, which is the Justice League. I'm really excited about the Justice League coming out in March 18th, and it's 4 hours long. Are you excited as much as I am?
I mean, I'm not a big DC, but I think that, with the whole redoing the movie, and it kind of messed up the first one, and now we get to see all the cut version. And I'm excited about it.
I'm super excited. For those of you that don't remember, the Justice League came out in 2017, but it wasn't the movie we're going to get next month. The director of the movie, Zack Snyder, his daughter tragically committed suicide, so he left the project. So what we got in the theaters, what we got in the theaters is actually probably about 20 minutes of what he filmed. The rest of it, it was not his movie. It was refilmed. So what we're gonna get is basically a 4-hour movie, and about 3 hours and 40 minutes of it is never before seen. So I want to go ahead and play that clip to remind everyone the Justice League is coming out. So we're gonna go ahead and play that clip right now.
The bell's been rung. Alan? Out in the dark, among the stars, the god is dead.
I had a dream. Almost like a premonition. I think there's an attack coming.
My lord, this world will fall.
I need warriors. I'm building an alliance to defend ourselves.
How do you know your team's strong enough? If you can't bring down the charging bull, then don't wave the red cape at it.
You were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes you the rest of your life, find out what that reason is.
He said the age of heroes would never come again.
It will. It has to.
We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. Isn't that right, Batman?
And we are back. So, what do you think? That trailer looks, I mean, yo, it looks dope. What do you think of the trailer?
I think it looks exciting. I mean, it's, you know, compared to the first one, I mean, everything looks totally different. I'm excited to see all the villains, Darkseid, and I mean, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be pretty good.
And you know, they actually went in and they spent about $70 million finishing it. But the big surprise, the big reveal of this trailer, what did you think about the end? The Joker, portrayed by the very own Jared Leto, and the statement that he says is, you know, we live in a
with no tattoos.
Right, we live in a world of civilized society. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cool. He don't have all the tattoos. I know a lot of people complained about that. Some people liked it, some people didn't. But I think it's kind of cool to see a different side of the Jared Leto Joker. You know, I just hope that it's a little longer than 5-10 minutes.
Right. His scene. But you know, the thing that I noticed too is a lot of people need to realize that the Joker continues to evolve. For all we know, that could be paint that he has over his actual tattoos to transform himself into what he wants to be. Right. So I mean, really, you can't just go by that. But man, I am so excited. Definitely. A few things that I heard about it. So for all the listeners out there, the Justice League is going to be free to anyone that has a subscription to HBO Max, right? So HBO Max. HBO Max. It comes out March 18th. And here's the thing. It is going to be set up as 4 hours and 2 minutes long. And the way that it's set up is in 1 hour chapters. So if you don't want to watch it the whole time, if you don't have 4 hours to devote, you can split it up, and it has intermission time. Now, for me, I want to see it. I want to see the whole thing. I want to be able to watch the whole thing because for me, I'm excited about experiencing it. So for me, I want to watch it and be able to experience it from start to end time. So that's how I'm going to watch it. But I am so stoked about this. Superman comes back in his black costume. What did you think about that?
Nice. I like the black. I like the black a lot. I mean, the red and the red and blue is the classic, but the black is kind of sleek. I like it.
And what I've been hearing is that we are going to get him in his black suit, but the way the black suit is going to come back out is that he is going to actually go back in, and he's going to we're going to see him as the Superman that we all know with the classic blue and red tie, red costume by the end of the Justice League. So that we're going to see that transformation from the black suit, right through the end when he actually is full-born Superman that we know.
Let's split it up. 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 Let's sp Gotcha.
So I'm excited. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be crazy. So excited. You guys got to remember, we are going to have so many extensive coverage on the Justice League. We're going to have panel reviews. I am so excited to have this come out. I'd like to invite you, Carmelo, to join us because it is going to be fantastic. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the room. We've got a lot of people on. I want to say hello to everyone that's in there right now.
Hello.
I say what's up to Wesley, the original Pacheco, Danny Lopez. Danny's in the house. We've got Stephanie D, Chasing Airplanes. Melinda's on there. We got a ton of people on. Want to thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
So let's move on to the next topic. The next topic is, and of course, we're going to talk. I'm going to geek out here because have you seen the recent footage of Godzilla vs. Kong? That's another HBO Max exclusive coming out in March. What do you think of that? Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, that's one I'm really excited about. You know, my kids love Godzilla and King Kong. We already watched the other parts just to get ready for this new one coming out. So I got HBO Max just because of that. So I mean, we're just waiting for that movie to come out.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I'm excited about Godzilla versus King Kong. The battle of the Titans, the battle of the monsters, East meets West, right? And so it's going to be dope. But just to remind the viewers here, we've got some clips to show you on the most latest releases for this movie, King Kong, Godzilla versus King Kong, however you want to put it. I want you guys to check it, take a look at it, and comment on the chat room. What do you think of this new Godzilla versus Kong? Here's exclusive footage, compliments of our friends at Warner Brothers and HBO Max. Ladies and gentlemen, Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus Kong, however you want to do it. And here it goes.
I made a promise to protect her. He did the same. It's Godzilla.
We need Kong. The world needs him.
In theaters and on HBO Max the exact same day. Rated PG-13.
They have an ancient rivalry. Godzilla will comfort him.
We need Kong. The world needs him. Kong may be our only hope to save our world.
Godzilla vs. Kong. In theaters and on HBO Max the exact same day. Rated PG-13.
Did the monkey just talk?
We need Kong. The world needs him.
Godzilla will comfort him. That would be a death sentence.
Godzilla vs. Kong. In theaters and on HBO Max the exact same day. Rated PG.
And we are back. So let me tell you, man, that looks awesome. The battle scenes, the special effects. I mean, that is, man, I want to see that movie so bad. So I'm excited to see Godzilla. And what about you?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited. Like I said, my kids are big fans of it. We just can't wait. Like, I subscribed to HBO Max because I knew it was coming out, so I wanted to be prepared. And we're ready to watch this movie already.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. No, it's gonna be dope. I'm so excited about it. Just a couple of things too. This actually is the part of that whole Godzilla universe that just recently came out. It started off with Godzilla, right, and then it led into the next film, which was King Kong. And that was, have you seen that? That was really cool. I like that. Sam Jackson was in it. A lot of great actors. Yeah. Then they brought in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and then they had Rodan, and they had all these different.
All of them.
Dude, the monsters were sick, man. They were crazy. Yeah. Dude, and one of the things I want people to realize is that right now they're showing Godzilla, and he's looking like he's the bad guy. But let me tell you, man, I'm not so certain, spoiler alert, everyone, that's actually Godzilla. I
Godzilla,
don't think it's Godzilla, everybody. I think it may be an imposter, and it might be Mecha Godzilla. You heard it first from here. You heard it from the House of Fandom, straight from Clark on the check-in. So I definitely think that we're going to be in for a surprise. I would not be surprised if the real Godzilla shows up, teams up with King Kong to beat up some Mecha Godzilla ass and anybody else that's there as well.
Definitely. Now, that's going to be a great
now
team
check
up.
this out, Carmelo. Can I call you Carmelo, or would you prefer Mello?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All
Mello,
right, so
Carmelo.
Stephanie D says, I've surprisingly never seen a Godzilla movie. Like, what the heck? So Stephanie D, you gotta get caught up. Stephanie D, I recommend you watch it with Billy Boy. I believe that he will enjoy it. You got to start with the first Godzilla, the most recent release, and then Kong, and then Godzilla King of the Monsters leading up to this one here. And I don't know if you noticed, they have the girl who plays 7 or 11 in the Stranger Things. She's playing in there too. So a lot of a big cast there. So yeah, we're definitely excited for that. So dude, any movies that you're excited about before we move on to the main event?
I'm trying to. Godzilla was one. We just talked about that. I'm excited about, of course, Justice League. I'm trying to think of what else is coming out soon.
What about Mortal Kombat? We played the trailer earlier Monday. Yeah, we played it exclusively here, the Red Band trailer on Monday when I was hosting with my guest host Danny. We played the Mortal Kombat, and that movie looks insane.
And it's crazy is that I'm glad they finally came out with a R version, because back in the day, I think they came out with a PG-13 or something like that. And it just didn't do the game justice. This brutal game that's, bloody and gory. We got a PG-13 version of it, but now we're gonna get the actual deal.
Oh yeah, but let's be honest, the Mortal Kombat we got was trash. It was a trash dumpster. It was a dumpster trash fire dumpster. Okay, it was terrible.
Dumpster fire.
It was just terrible. Terrible. It was bad. It was no good. So I'm really excited about it. It looks like it's got a big budget, straight up hard rated R, another HBO Max release. Let me ask you, Carmelo, are you kind of upset that all these movies are going straight to HBO Max? I mean, do you wish you would have been able to watch it in the theaters? Like, what are your thoughts there?
I think that I know out here you get an option, so you can still. I mean, you could still go to the movie theater and watch it. But me, do you want to go and pay? I mean, maybe you would want to go and pay some money, but when you got it at home, you're comfortable in your house, you're gonna want to watch it at home too. So, but I don't know. Some of these movies, I think like Justice League, I think that I would like to give a shot at the movie theater if they have it at the movie theater, and King Kong, of course. I mean, King Kong versus Godzilla.
Right. Now, do you find yourself like do you think the movie theaters will be able to recover? I know we're kind of going a little off topic here, but what are your thoughts there? Do you think that the movie theater industry is going to come back like it was before?
I don't know. I mean, I know that they have over here. We have reserved seating, but then it's I think it's 6 seats between each seat or something like that. So, I mean, I don't know. I think when things calm down with COVID, I think it's still going to take a while for people to get back in the movie theaters and be, elbow to elbow, watching movies. Right. So.
No, I agree with you. I think it's going to be very interesting. I know Real Talk says, getting back to the movie Street Fighter, not Street Fighter, what was Mortal Kombat. He says no more Christopher Lambert as Raiden, and also too, yes, we knew that Real Talk. We know that Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme was a dumpster fire. So that is no. There's absolutely we definitely know that even worse of a dumpster fire than Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. Yeah, that was a lot worse than Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Steph.
I mean, but as a kid though, when you watch it, I thought it was pretty decent back then, but now when I look back at it, it's not cool.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, Stephanie D says she doesn't think that the theaters will come back like they were before. So I mean, there's a lot of people that think of it differently. They think of it as, maybe we kind of got used to the fact that, hey, we'll watch movies at home. We can watch it as it premieres at home, as opposed to spending all that money in the theater.
Especially when people got their setup where, you know, they have big TVs and like those theater setups in their house. I mean, why not just do it at home, you know? So
yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so here we are. We are at the point of the main event, everyone. I'm really excited about our next guest, a very special guest. And before we introduce Johnny to the House of Fandom and he gets to talk to us, I want to remind everybody about this movie because this movie really was an iconic 70s film. And so the guy who directed it, Walter Hill, he actually directed Alien. Yep, the movie Alien with Sigourney Weaver. And he also directed 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. So this guy is big, you know, as far as a director. But this movie here, I mean, listen, I was able to go back and watch it for the show. And for me, it holds up. I mean, of course, there's a lot of things we'll talk about that was, you know, kind of like when you think of it now, I'm not sure if it was very realistic. But still, I mean, the movie was absolutely... you know, a cult classic. I mean, it still holds up today for the most part. But let me just remind everybody by playing the trailer for The Warriors. Ladies and gentlemen, the trailer for The Warriors.
These are the armies of the night.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
The Furies, the Boppers, the Hi-Hats, the Lizzies, the Turnbull ACs, the Gramercy Riffs. And these are the Warriors.
We know about the Warriors. They're a heavy outfit.
They're from Coney Island.
Warriors? You guys are the big dudes, huh?
Now they're in the Bronx.
We're going back.
27 miles behind enemy lines.
It's the only choice we got.
Between them and safety stand 20,000 cops and 100,000 sworn enemies.
I want them all. I want all the Warriors.
They've got one way out. They've got one chance. They've got one night. The Warriors.
And we are back. So yeah, man. Yeah. I just have one thing to say. Can you dig it? Yo, that scene is iconic, man. I mean, it is so crazy. But I mean, think of the setup though. You got a bunch of gang members basically in New York City in the 1970s, and they're having a gang summit. That right there is incredible, and that scene, had to be filmed over a course of time. I mean, I'm not certain, but I'm sure that our guest will let us know when he comes on. But
let us know.
But dude, let me tell you, that trailer was pretty awesome, and just kind of reliving that whole 1970s vibe, the grit, the New York dirt, the grit of New York City, the grime of New York City. But what do you think of that?
The streets were real tough back then. So I think the movie, with the movie, as far as the gangs involved in the movie, those are fictional. But as far as like the setup of how the gangs kind of ruled over the streets in New York during those years in the 70s, early 80s, that's exactly how it was. Neighborhoods and stuff like that. You couldn't go in certain neighborhoods in the Bronx. Yeah. 172nd and Grand Concourse.
Grew up in the Bronx. I mean, back again to the chat room. Real Talk says, fun fact: the radio DJ from the Warriors was on the show. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I did not know that. I did not know that.
Nice,
I guess I guess they're talking about the lady.
She's right. She is
the lady
right.
who's like,
yeah, I remember.
"Oh, you boppers out there, we've got to get ourselves some warriors." That was nuts.
I remember
the
that.
warriors were not her friend. Let me just put it that way. Melinda says she's getting some serious Lord of the Flies vibe. Okay, yeah. Hey, listen.
With the warriors?
Listen, Lord of the Flies is like, every man for themselves, and basically, one will survive them all. So I mean, I can dig it. As they say, I can dig it. I
think the Warriors movies, the Warriors movie is is an acquired taste. I think certain people, I think a lot of city people that are from Chicago, New York, LA, they kind of growing up, they kind of like the movie because they kind of reminded them of the neighborhoods and stuff like that.
No, that's true.
It's not for everyone.
Not. I mean, it's one of those. Excuse me. It's one of those movies that you gotta enjoy it for just the grit of it, and the 1970s, like the vibe of it all, and I mean, it's definitely one of those movies that you gotta watch it and just kind of understand that, hey, this was filmed on a very low budget. It was actually filmed for under $4 million, and this was a film that used a lot of real street gangs, and we'll talk more about that with our guest. But man, let me tell you, a lot of crazy stuff. And yeah, Real Talk says hello boppers. Exactly, that's how hello boppers. Yeah, and there's there's so many iconic scenes, right? And so I'm just gonna play one more iconic scene, and then we're gonna bring on the main event, the man, the myth, the legend, the paid extra who was on this film. And here's the thing, we've got receipts. He kept his tax check from Paramount Pictures when he filmed this back in 1978, all those years ago. So that's going to be really neat to share with all the listeners. But let's take a look at this iconic clip. I'm going to give you guys the setup. The main villain who you see on the screen pointing right now, that main villain is taunting the Warriors, which has now become synonymous with the actual movie. So I want you to see this clip and just kind of give you an idea how wacky these characters were, how crazy they were, how maniacal. So let me bring up this clip. I think you guys are gonna like it. So we're gonna go ahead and bring this up. Give me 1 second, and now.
Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play.
And we are back. So, let me ask you one thing. Warriors, come out and play.
Come out and play.
Warriors. Can you hear us, Johnny? We're calling you. Warriors, come out and play. Yo, that's good stuff. But yeah, let me tell you, that guy was crazy. He was a weasel. He was such a weasel, like just a
weasel, little grimy little liar.
He was the worst, bro. He was a weasel, and he was a grimy, like you just said, a grimy little liar. Let me tell you. But yeah, I had to, I had to bring that up. I had to go there. But very exciting stuff. So here we are at the point of the show where we introduce our next guest. I am super excited to introduce this special guest. His name is Johnny. He's from New York City. Johnny's going to bring us through his experiences filming as an extra in this iconic movie, as well as the iconic scene with the speech from Cyrus, the main guy who was like the summit leader of all of the gang members. And so he's gonna talk to us about his experience on the film. And I am super excited. Carmelo, let's give a very warm, and then everyone in the chat room, let's give a very warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Fandom, Mr. Johnny. Johnny, welcome to the House of Fandom. We appreciate you. Hey, what's up? What's up?
Thank you for inviting me. What's up is the Warriors. That's what's up.
Heavy duty.
So what's going on? What's going on? How are you doing? What is new? And listen, thank you so much for coming in to the House of Fandom and talking to us about your experiences filming this movie. Just super excited.
Well, I'm excited too to let you guys know what I went through. Just I'm happy to be here and chat with you guys and let some of the fans out there, let them know what I experienced.
Nice.
Thank you. I know you guys wanted to hear what I had to say about my experience in the movies, so I went out of my way to be on here for all these fans out there.
I appreciate it. We definitely appreciate you coming back as well.
Yeah,
no problem.
And I know the last question, I'm guessing the last question that I asked didn't get recorded, so I'll ask again. How long did it take you to tape your scenes for the movie?
There were a lot of different ones. Most of the scenes were very tricky. I was learning a lot of things that they were doing. The cameraman would say that there was something wrong with the camera, that they had to stay quiet. And everybody would stay quiet because they said something's wrong with the camera, and they were actually really recording us. That's the only way they can get us to stay still.
Okay, I got you. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, I just kind of take us through the whole experience. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You must have lived in New York in the 70s, right? And so tell us a little bit about how did you come across even knowing that they were filming in New York City, and did you have an idea of what the movie was about when you got the thing? Tell us about how did you get the role? Like, how did you get the opportunity to be an extra on this set?
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine in the projects that lived in the projects that I lived in, named Richie, and he was telling me, they're looking for extras, So I said, oh, where at? He says, go down 96th Street. Come with me because I'm gonna sign in. So I went there, and they had a school there at 96th Street where it had all kinds of different clothing and stuff like that. And you just pick what you wanted, and then you put your name, your address, so like that they know whether, to give you the check, they write it out for you and stuff like that. And then we had to go to the park, and then around like 11 to 12, we stay filming from 11 to 12 to 6 in the morning.
That's a long time. Now, from what I understand, you got paid for this role, right? So I want to show the listeners. Johnny was very gracious to share, minus of course his personal information like his social security, but he provided us with the tax return information, the W-2 from Paramount Pictures for the role. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that with the listeners, and I want you all to see that. So let me let's bring up that picture. I think that'll be pretty cool to see that. So give us 1 second here, and we will take a look at that. So there we go. So what we have in front of us, everybody, is this is a picture of the actual pay stub or the W-2 from Paramount Pictures. You can see clearly on the top there, it says employer's name on line item 3. We're all familiar with this. Paramount Pictures Corporation, paid out to John Henriquez. Shows the address there, and then it looks like it looks like a W-2, and man, they only paid you $64. Oh man, they really got a good deal out of you, didn't they? But here's the thing: I do hear a lot of extras don't get paid. So what we're seeing here is actually pretty cool. That they actually paid you. Yeah, that's awesome. Let me go ahead and bring us back on. That was pretty neat, man. I mean, you kept that for all those. I mean, listen, we're talking about over 40 years. I mean, close to 42 years. You kept that long.
You got to laminate that.
You like, how did you even find it, and like, how did you keep it all these years?
No, I got receipts from both my first jobs that I worked from. I got them all in my room, all put away. But this one was the one that's, this was my proof to show people that I was in the Warriors.
Amazing.
So I kept it, and I knew one of these days it was going to come in handy. Look at this.
Well, I mean, it's such a classic movie. I mean, you were there. You know what I mean? Now you got proof that you were there. So right. I think that's kind of cool that you kept it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was amazing. Like that you actually, that you kept that, but the fact that you kept it. And also that it was from such a long time ago. You know what I mean? That's just amazing. That to me is amazing. Tell us a little bit more about your experiences. How I know Carmelo asked you a question earlier, and I'll let you lead into that question, Carmelo, about how long it was filming.
Yeah, just how long did it take to film the scenes that you were in? I know you was talking about you was in a couple of scenes, but I think only one made the cut for the movie. So speak about that.
That one took. They kept on taking retakes. That one took about 2 or 3 hours. Wow. Because they kept on doing retakes, mic check and stuff like that.
Oh wow. Okay. So.
Okay.
And then we would go on. That we'll go on breaks. While they're talking to what they're gonna. How they're gonna do it again.
Now, John. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And go ahead. Go ahead. No, you go. Oh no, I was gonna say, and you were part of another scene. You said that didn't make the movie, correct?
Right. When you see me in the scene when Cyrus gets shot, if you notice the screen splits, it stops for a few moments, and then you see my clip come in. I guess they like that part. I'm running, and the cops are running after me, and I'm climbing up a fence, and the cop is reaching for me. And they never put that.
All right, so let me ask you this: that scene that you're talking about, right? What were you wearing there? And before we play the clip, I want to let everyone know that there's the principal actor that the Warriors. He's in a brown leather jacket, but all the way to the right,
yes,
John is wearing a. What are you wearing, John?
I'm wearing
a green tank top.
Green tank top.
Like an army green, right?
And, yeah, and then a pair of blue pants with a white belt.
Chain, like a black chain? Okay, so you were wearing so you had your rosary like a good Catholic, and then you had it looks like you were wearing a beard. I'm curious, everybody else seems to be clean shaven. Why is it that you're not clean shaven and you're wearing a beard?
When I first went to become when Richie took me to the place to become an extra, he said you would have to shave, and I said, yeah, I'm down to shave. It don't bother me. But what I end up doing instead of shaving, I shaved my hair bald, and I went to the school and I forgot all about shaving. So I said, what's the odds of me getting in getting in there? And it was very tricky how I got into that scene, because how I got into that scene, I was watching the cameraman and I was listening while everybody was taking a break and talking. I already knew where the cameraman said he was going to set up, and I was right there on point. I stayed right next to that bar. I did not move. I ate my lunch right there and everything.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And then I
that's I'm glad you brought that up, because you're actually only 3 people away from one of the main characters from the film, one of the Warriors. So you're in that shot with the Warriors when the shooting commences, and it pans out to that Warrior, but then we see you at the far right of the camera, right? That you gave this stunning, astonished look, and then you hightail it out of there. you run out of there. So I thought that was genius.
Yeah,
so after that is when the deleted scene that came out was the police following you and grabbing you.
Yeah, there were cops grabbing everybody else, and I ran and
Well,
they cut that scene out. But I was
go ahead.
really
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
I was surprised that they put that scene in there because I talked to a lot of my friends on Facebook that also was in there, and they say, "Hey, Johnny, how in the world did you get to go into the Warriors without shaving?" And I said, "I can't explain." I said, "I did it anyway." The point is that I'm in the movies.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And listen,
because there's no such thing a gang member in those days. Clean cut. Come on, really?
Yeah,
so
true.
I guess they say, wait a minute, let's leave this guy here because he looks roughy. You know, he's got the beard and everything. So that's why I think they kept the scene. But everybody else was clean shave. I never saw no gang with clean shave with no mustache or nothing.
That's amazing. But listen, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and play the clip in question, and as we play the clip, I am going to describe where you're at in the scene so that the listeners and the viewers can see exactly the scene that you're in, and then really see a 19-year-old today. By the way, today is your birthday. Happy birthday, Johnny! For everyone that's in the room, let's give a shout out to Johnny, and it's his birthday today. And Johnny, dare I ask, how old are you? Wow, 62. God bless. Amazing. All right, let's do this. Let me play the clip. I want to describe it to the audience members. I'm going to go ahead and play it right now. So what we have here is the shot to the main leader. Okay, he falls to the ground. I want you guys to look to your right now. There's Johnny in the tank top. He runs to the right, and then the guy's right there, which leads us to the guy right there who's saying and points to the guy to shoot him. And then the police show up in the scene. End scene. Nice. So very exciting. How does it feel seeing yourself all those years later?
Oh man, I love it, and it's the talk. It's the talk over here where I'm living at in New Mexico. Everybody, they one person knows about me, and they start coming up to me and say, "Yo, you was in the Warriors?" And I carry the picture of the Warriors of me, my scene, and I show it to them, and they go, "Oh, we thought you was lying."
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's proof. That's proof. I mean, the thing is that the Warriors movie is even for you to be in that movie just for those couple minutes. I mean, you're part of a classic. That's a classic movie, man. You're part of something awesome. I mean, it's a great movie. I know some people like it, some people don't, but it's a classic movie, and
and that's amazing. I mean, who's to say, hey, who can say that they were in the movies in the gritty 1970s, and so that was an awesome scene. How long did the scene take to film? How many days did you have to come, or rather, how many nights did you have to come back to the set? So you're telling me it took 1 week to film that, like essentially a 5-minute scene?
They were doing other little knickknacks. They were putting people in different area
for crowd
and
shots, facing
the camera there. They would check. They was looking around to see what which one works the best for them. They were very careful because on 96th Street there, that's all considered a rich neighborhood. So you had to be very quiet because the people, they're retirees that live in that building, doctors, lawyers, and stuff like that. So when you see the yelling part was done separately. So it wasn't done that night because, if people hear us screaming, we had to, just kept on going like this with our hands and no voice. And then I don't know how they did it. They did another track with us and they spliced it in with us screaming and stuff like that. Due to the noise, they didn't want to interrupt the people in the buildings that they lived in.
I actually put your picture up right to the right of you in the middle from that scene, so everyone can get an idea. But yeah, that seems pretty intense. Now, let me ask you a follow-up question. You have probably hundreds of different extras on there. Were there real gang members on set? So talk to us a little bit about that. What were they there for? Nice. Were they part of the scene? Were they there advising filmmakers? What exactly were they doing there?
I don't think they were advising. I would think they was making sure that whatever was being portrayed in these movies was on point.
Yeah.
And if they felt something was wrong, they would go and talk to, they have ways of going to talk to they don't bull guard them, but they go and talk to the director and say, hey, listen, we're part of this so and so and so and so. This is not the lifestyle. It's worse than this. I mean, this movie is just like like a cupcake to me, compared to really gang members like the Savage Nomads, the 70 Mortals, Black Spades, all those gangs. There was no comparison to them, but they stood to their corner and they let it be.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, the thing is too, the movie, what I liked about the movie compared to the way the world is today, it was tough. It was gangs, and I know a lot of people frown upon, but they took care of things with their hands. It was fighting. No one was afraid to throw down. Now today, you got kids running around just pulling out guns. When back then,
yeah, we got kicked out by YouTube.
Oh, we're out really? Again?
Yep.
Jesus.
Yep.
Hold on, let me see here.
I guess they didn't like the part where I said there was real gang members.
Or it could be people are just being idiots and they're messing with our stream. Are we?
Okay, we're back up.
Yeah. All right, everybody, we are back up. And let me tell you, I'm not sure, but we may even have gremlins on here, or we have, we've got some, nefarious trolls that are, erroneously, putting in there that we are, using copyright, but we are back. So I'm not sure what happened, but just know that we are in compliance with all copyright. We're using it in fair use, and descriptions are of their respective copyright owners. So we are back. We got cut off, so I wanted to make sure that we properly discuss what you brought up, with regards to that specific question. The question was, were there real gang members, on set? And if so, what exactly were they there for? What were they doing?
They were there to make sure that the movies was the gangs members were portrayed the right way, and if they felt that something was out of place, they would go and talk to the director and let them know, hey, this is not the way we are.
Now, do you think? Let me ask you, in your opinion, do you think that The Warriors was an accurate depiction of New York City gangs in the 1970s?
Oh, these gangs out here?
The way in the movies.
The one that in the movie.
That was an accurate portrayal?
No.
Yeah,
you're talking about the true gang members from the South Bronx, man. That's the true legends and from the Grand Concourse, like Carmelo was saying, Clark. Those were the true. This one, it wasn't. No, it was made to keep it for young viewers to watch it and to make a choice how they want. That it wasn't all about going out there and becoming a gang member and starting trouble. The Warriors were the people that were a community that helped people. Like Carmelo was saying one time, they went out and helped people and they contribute. Like the Black Panthers were doing back in the days. They were contributing to schools and stuff like that. That's what they were doing with the Warriors. They were portraying them as because they didn't want no trouble. They said it. They didn't want no trouble at all because they were a mellow, cool gang. But if you push them to their corner, they're gonna fight back. The only thing I didn't understand about this movie was there's only 7 guys, and I wish they would have. I wish they would have went into some buildings and showed at least over 150 warriors.
So you're saying that right? So you're saying that really wasn't accurate. There would have been more warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, come on.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Well, at the end, you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they made it back to Coney Island.
Yeah, when they got to Coney Island, where was their peeps?
Yeah,
So
I
they're
know.
going all the way to Coney. You're going all the way to Coney Island. So, yo, wait a minute. Wait till you see my people.
Oh, I see. So the Warriors
I know,
were getting
they were
back
already
to Coney Island because that's where their people were.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I missed that.
Yeah. So you would expect.
So like, okay, let's do this. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, you would expect in that ending scene that they would have had like
bunch
50
of
or
them.
100
Oh,
warriors.
okay.
Yeah,
So
they
you're
should've
saying
did
it
that,
wasn't
definitely.
really an accurate depiction in that scene at the end of the movie to have all those gang members there and then not have their backup show up for them. Okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense. Let me ask you this. The scene that you talked about, you did bring up something that I was unaware of. This deleted scene. So during the scene when you leave, right? And so, I want to just, again, ask you the scene in question where you are, you witness the shooting and then you leave, you run. There's another scene. Did the police actually film with you, or was those actors? Were they actors that were portraying police? Okay, so did they? Did the scene involve you with them tackling you, or just you trying to get away?
No, no. It was I was going up and he was going towards me, and then he just like
right. So it's like you escaped.
He was doing
so like a pickup shot.
I escaped, and then he went to go and go after other people and stuff like that.
That's pretty interesting, man. And so let me ask you, when the movie came out, because you were filming in 1978, the movie came out in 1979. When did you see it in the theaters, and did you see yourself immediately when you went to the theater? No, you didn't.
No, I'm telling you, I didn't see myself at all. I was pissed. I said, I'm in this movie, man. And
you couldn't see that you were in that scene.
No. And then I talked to a lot of people and said, yo, I saw you. And then I was hanging out with some friends, and they had like cable TV back in the days, in the 80s. And he goes, and they said, yo, they're going to show the Warriors. And he says, I seen you. And I said, nah, you didn't see me. And as soon as it came out, he says, watch this right here. He pointed to me. And it took me 3 years before I even actually seeing myself on the movies.
Wow.
I had to actually stay staring at it until I found it, and I started making copies of pictures of myself and showing it to people. Yo, I was in the Warriors. Nah, I know you wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that must have been like. I got to tell you that that must have been fun to kind of do. So you're saying you didn't see it in the theaters. It took you. When? Like when you got into DVD or Blu-ray, or like when did you actually realize you were in it?
I told you, I went to his friend's house. They had
cable.
He had that cable TV back in the days. You know what I mean? Everybody had them. Looked like a little channel
like
box.
HBO, WHT,
and he said,
Showtime, Cinemax.
I don't know what it was on, but there was no way that he could control it. It was just one of the, no. It was no bootleg, bro. It was made up.
Well, they used to have, I think the Warriors movie, remember what, the beta tapes? I remember watching it for the first time on beta. Those little tapes that they used to have before the VHS. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, but I saw it in this guy's house, and he told me, no, I know you in the movie watching. And for some reason, we're talking about it. And he said, look, it's coming on right now. And then he pointed it to me, and I kept on. I said, oh, my God. And then when I got over here to New Mexico, I rented the movie, VHS. And I started looking at it slowly. And I said, oh, there I go right then. I stopped it. And my wife said, oh, shit, there you go. You know what I mean?
So you were there. You were in there and everything. That's amazing. Let me ask you this. When you were filming, and I think I might have alluded to this, did you know that the movie was about about a bunch of gangs? Did they kind of give you an idea, hey, we want you to be like you're a gang member? Like what was it that kind of clued you in? Or did you have any idea?
They didn't tell me nothing, bro. I just looked at everybody else, and the guy goes, when I told you,
that's it.
Run. Okay? Yes, you run. And we sitting there. He says, stay quiet. We look this way. Wait a minute. We're trying to fix the camera. And I said, something's, okay. They filming us. Then he goes, okay, I want you guys, we're not filming, but I want you. This is just a test run. I want you guys to run, and that's when we ran.
Amazing. Yeah, that to me is
Nice.
that's very interesting. The whole filmmaking experience and being able to be a part of that and everything. That's really awesome. Let me ask you. Obviously, you mentioned that you don't live in New York, so you moved to New Mexico. Do you ever miss New York, or are you happy living out west?
I'm happy living out west.
You're like, especially during this pandemic.
The weather is probably
right?
a lot better.
I said, especially during a pandemic.
I mean, that's especially because of that, and a lot of my friends are not, doing good with themselves. They still doing the same old fashioned stuff, and I don't want to be a part of that negativity.
Doubt, yeah, that was. Listen, I definitely appreciate you sharing all these stories. I mean, like, I got to tell you, it's been very, very, eye opening and interesting, especially to all our listeners that are out there. Let me just give a shout out to all the listeners out there that came back. We had numerous, hits for some reason. Not sure exactly what it is, but I'll tell you this much: once YouTube realizes that there's no issue, they let us keep going. If there was an issue, we wouldn't be on now. So, so I just want to make sure we put that.
I got you. So like those, so they just boot you out.
So what ended up happening is someone must have reported us for something that wasn't true, which probably led us to get kicked off. But like I said, we did everything we needed to do on our end. But you know what? Like I said, hey, listen, we got clout now. We got clout now. Just kidding. Yeah, we're on the radar. So before we close out our show, I do have a reveal. So I'm gonna hand it off to. I'm gonna hand it over to my co-host, also my cousin Carmelo, to reveal to you guys something pretty neat and special about today's guest.
Yeah, the thing is like growing up, like I tell you, Warriors was one of my favorite movies. And it was even better for me because I get to watch my uncle run away from the cops.
So spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
It's kind of cool.
John is actually Uncle John, Uncle Johnny. And so we were really super excited to have him on here. And not just my uncle, but Carmelo's uncle. Melinda says, wow, true New York fashion, snitches get stitches. That's true. And so, but here's the thing. We were super excited about it. It almost became like some mythical legend that Uncle Johnny was in the movie The Warriors, because we never could, nobody could ever find the scene, right? So we were like, come on, man, you were in this movie. And every time, I mean, it took recently, I think it was a few years back, when I was able to finally find it on YouTube, and I paused through that scene, and there he was right there. And you got to know what you're looking for to know who it is. But it was really neat to be able to have him be in the movie and share that story. And of course to be on the House of Fandom on your birthday, Uncle Johnny. So happy birthday once again.
With your nephews.
Listen, happy birthday to you. 62, looking good, looking young, and giving you many, 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 many more years to come. So we wish you extremely more years. But thank you so much, Uncle John, for joining us today.
Birthday, Uncle John.
And happy birthday to you. Thank you all for listening, all our listeners out there. Before we go, do you have any parting thoughts before I give us some kick-up shots for what's happening next week, Uncle John? Any cosmic thoughts?
Everybody was high in the movie. Everybody was high. They was drinking, they was smoking, everybody was twisted.
Hey, we also have Lena on there. That's my brother Johnny and my son Carmelo and nephew Clark on the check-in. And so, yeah, we are so super excited to have you on, John. It's been an extreme treat for us. And listen, I got to say, Mello, I was a little worried about having you come in as a guest host because you know how obnoxious you can be. But I will say I was very happy to have you here and, super excited to have you join the House of Fandom and be able to do this this special
Thank you so much
segment
for having me.
because, like I said, I thought it was really, really neat to be able to share the experiences with Uncle John and have him share with the entire House of Fandom family. So just once again, I can't thank you enough, Uncle John, for taking the time. A lot of people don't realize what goes into setting up a podcast and a YouTube channel. And these guys were real sports, sticking it out with me and my, obsessive, compulsion when it came to that. But let me just say, it's been an amazing experience. We got flagged today, Uncle John. Wow. Look at that on the first episode. Listen, we've arrived. Hey, Kyle. Hey, Kyle, Townie Sports, Vic, Sammy, we've arrived. But no, in all seriousness, great show, guys. I may have to go back and do some re-editing so that way we can really make sure that everybody enjoys this episode. But before I go, I want to talk about what we have next week. I've got a special treat for you guys. We've got 2 shows going on next week. We've got Townie Sports with Vic and Sammy, and they will be coming on in their new... Hey, come on, they're from Boston. Big deal. All right. But listen, these guys are great. They know their stuff. Nice. They have a lot to talk about. They talk about NBA. We're going to be entering March Madness, so they are going to have so much coverage to March Madness, so we're really excited about that. They will be on live at 8 p.m. on Tuesday, and then I will be hosting another episode with another guest of our revolving guest of the House of Fandom. I'm going to be joined by the Tank. The Tank from Detroit, Michigan will be joining us live. He will be my guest host. He is a super huge, fandom guy. This guy loves movies. He loves fandom, and he is super excited to join us. The guy's 6'8", but he is so excited to join the House of Fandom, and so we are definitely going to be look forward to bringing you some really cool stuff next week on the House of Fandom. We'll cover WandaVision. The most latest episode was absolutely insane, so there's a lot to talk about. So don't forget, Townie Sports on Tuesday at 8 p.m. and the House of Fandom Thursday at 8 p.m. Mello, before we go, anything you want to say? I'll let you leave us out. And stick around for the music from our very own Sammy, who goes by Sandstorm in his rap moniker. So he will be singing us out. So stay on when the credits roll up. But anything you want to say before we go out, I'll give you the last word since I talk a lot.
Just want to say thanks for having me on. I'm glad that we got to do this with Uncle John and get out there and, talk about the Warriors and the stuff that he was doing on the film. And I think it's kind of awesome. Love you, Uncle John.
Love you too, Uncle
birthday.
John. You're the best. We appreciate you guys. The listeners appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, this was another episode of the House of Fandom.